Welcome to your adaptive chair yoga practice. And so my name is Bobbie, for those of you who haven't met me yet. And just want to give an appreciation to those of you who have been showing up on a regular basis for your chair yoga practice. And it's a gift, a delight. I don't know how many words to kind of use to share how wonderful it is for me to be able to share this lovely practice with you. And so yoga, India's gift to the West. And so I'd like to invite you to begin by finding a comfortable seat. And so sit in a way that you feel the most at ease. And then when you're ready, an invitation to bring your hands together at your heart center. And lifting your heart to your hands, bowing your head to your heart. Inhale, and then take a moment to set a simple intention for your practice. And so set your intention with one word, and we'll revisit that intention at the end of your practice. And then release your arms down by your sides, spiral your palms open, and open up your armpits and wiggly fidgets. So shake your hands vigorously. And so if anything I share during the practice today feels uncomfortable, if it hurts, skip it. Come back to your breath. And so when we're focused on our breath, we're practicing yoga. And so always at the beginning of a yoga practice, it's good to get centered. So it always takes a few moments to center, to ground, to land if you'd like. And so a centering practice. So an invitation to ground through your feet. Center and ground through the soles of your feet. Root down through your sits bones, maybe noticing where your bottom and your thighs are in contact with your seat. And then energy moving in two directions, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then as you're ready, transition into mindful movement. So reaching our arm way up to the sky. And then gently float your arm down. So same side, reaching up, way up to the sky. And then slowly float your arm down. So let's explore adding a gentle breath to the movement. On inhale, reaching up, full length of your inhale. On exhale, float your arm down, the full length of your exhale. It's as if on our inhale, as we reach our arm up, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs and then take a moment and we'll begin the movement on the other side. So gentle movement, reach your arm way up to the sky and then slowly float your arm down. So on inhale, reaching up, full length of your inhale. On exhale, float your arm down, the full length of your exhale. So it's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. And on exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. And this time I'll reach both arms way up to the sky. Place your hands on the back of your head if that's available to you and you would like. Or maybe it feels better to fold your fingers in, pressing into the palms of your hands. So either way, and together we can shout out an affirmation. I am strong. I am fearless. And with a sigh of relief, float your arms or release your arms down by your side. Place your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And maybe taking a moment to notice which feels better for you. Resting your palms face up, or does it feel better to rest your palms face down? So if you are tired, I'd like to invite you to explore resting your palms face up, open to receive. If you're feeling restless, scattered, palms face down can help ground us. And then when you're ready, an invitation to move your gaze downward. So moving away from the busyness in our minds and more towards our heart. And so allowing our facial muscles to soften and release. And breath is calm, jaw relaxed. And so, the invitation from here to place your hands on your Buddha belly and to bring a gentle awareness to your breath. So without changing anything, maybe noticing on our inhales that things expand, and on our exhales, things contract. So notice, is your breath long? Is it smooth or is it jagged? And breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Or maybe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Or if it feels better for you, breathing in and out through your mouth. If you are congested or you have an obstruction, breathe in whatever way you can. And then if you'd like, maybe placing one hand on your yoga belly, so the area between your navel and your pubic bone, so your low belly, your other hand on your heart center. We'll transition into a simple breathing exercise that research shows can help with pain management and anxiety. As you're ready, begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. And then see if you can begin to smooth out your breath. So smooth movement, smooth sound. At any point, if you notice that your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. And then lastly, see if you can add a quality of softness to your breath. So you might imagine that you just tasted something delicious. And see if you can bring that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are you're holding tension, or areas that feel tight. Our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. So just for a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable, I'd like to invite you to keep this simple breathing exercise flowing. And if you're comfortable with the breathing exercise, feel free to rest your hands on your thighs or wherever feels comfortable for you. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. And so wherever you are in your breath cycle, allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. Maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And then bring your chin towards your heart center. So in yoga, sometimes the middle of our chest is referred to as our heart center symbolically. And gradually blink your eyes open. And so notice if you felt a subtle shift in your energy. And so we've begun the process of tuning into our bodies and connecting with our breath. And so often the bridge between our body and our mind is our breath. And so release your arms down by your sides, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits, and again, wiggly fidget, shake your hands vigorously. And so at this time, I'd like to invite you to walk your hips forward in your chair. So coming forward about 2/3 of the way, if that's available to you and you would like. And if you need the back of the chair for support, honor that. And so yoga meets us right where we are. And literally at home these days. And so if anything I share with you feels uncomfortable, if you ever need to leave the space for any reason, take care of yourself, of course, by all means do. And you're welcome to pop back into the class. If you experience any dizziness, nausea during the yoga practice, come out of the movement or the pose. And so it might be that you're into the pose too deep or moving too quickly. So that's an invitation to maybe explore coming back into the pose a little more gently or slowly, or not at all. And so you're the expert on your body. And so trusting your innate wisdom, and I'll do my part, my best to keep this a lovely yoga practice for you. And so meeting everyone right where they are. And so that said, I don't want to be a talking head. So ground through your feet, we'll repose. Center and ground through the soles of your feet. So we want to keep our connection with Mother Nature. And we tend to start losing that. Root down to your sits bones. So sits bones sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And so in yoga, this is called a chin lock, and it can help with our breathing. Tucking our chin in slightly. And from here, an invitation to bring your hands together at your heart center. And we'll transition into a practice called sun breath. Sun Salutation if you like, with a meditation on the heart. And so on inhale, noticing things expand, bringing your arms up and out, or maybe lower if that feels better for you. And then bringing your hands back together at the heart center. Or maybe it feels better for you to bring your hands to your Buddha belly. And so you choose. And moving in your own time and rhythm. This gentle heart opener on our inhales. Extending our arms up and away. And so if you'd like, imagine the sun at your heart center. And on your inhales, as you extend your arms up and away to your place, imagine the rays of the sun radiating out all around you. And then gather that light and bring it back inside as a symbol of the light that's always inside us. And so on exhale, bringing our hands together at the heart this time, chanting Om, or maybe making a humming sound. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Place one hand on your yoga belly, the other on your heart center, and maybe noticing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And then bring your chin towards your chest and gradually blink your eyes open. So give your hands a little shake out again, wiggly fidgets. And so let's transition into a warm up for neck and shoulders. And so a gentle movement, gentle neck movements, head and neck. So gentle neck rolls. And see if you can resist the temptation to move your head to its full range of motion. Our yoga belly is soft, breath is quiet. And then other direction. So if this movement feels uncomfortable, if it creates any discomfort or pain, I'd like to invite you to explore imagining the movement. Imagine the physical movement. So that might be a lovely starting point. So imagination is powerful. And then move your head from side to side as if nodding no. Move your head up and down as if nodding yes. So adding that lovely affirmation if you'd like. I am fearless. I am strong. And head comes back center. And when you're ready, release your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open. On inhale, reaching up to the sky. So maybe placing your hands on the back of your head, or maybe elbows are bent, pressing into the palms of your hands. So I'm going to choose to place my hands on the back of my head. And together we can shout out, I am strong. I am fearless. And with a sigh of relief, release your arms down by your side. Great. And so repose, always making sure feet are firmly planted on the ground, not in the air. Yeah. So making whatever adjustment that you need to feel comfortable, and a gentle reminder that if you are seated in a wheelchair, make sure that your chair is turned off. And so just moving in a little closer to see. No. If others, I know there are a few people who are trying to sign on, and unfortunately I'm not able to help them with that. So work in progress always. And when you're ready, you're tucking your chin in slightly again, so that lovely chin lock. And our sits bones are sharp on the chair. Is sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. Push down through one foot and then down through the other. So it might be an energetic pushing down. And so maybe notice, do you have more sensation or feeling? Do you feel one foot more than the other? Nice. And roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And then as you're ready, you're reaching your arms up in front of you. Turn your palms face up. And on inhale, reaching up to the sky. Noticing on our inhales that things expand. And on exhale, things contract. So gentle movement, linking our breath with our movements. Magical things happen, reaching up to the sky, palms face down. Then maybe releasing your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits. So get bigger in space. With a soft bend in your elbows, reaching your arms up into mountain pose. Maybe it feels okay to bring your hands together. It might even feel okay to interlace your fingers, turn your palms face up to the sky. And so ground through your feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. Sit bones sharp on the chair, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. And coming out of the pose anytime you'd like or on my cue. And 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. Notice, how's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. Okay. And so moving on, I'd like to invite you to reach your arm up in front of you. So we'll explore in line with our shoulder. So our shoulder in line with our wrist and hand. And take a moment to notice how that feels. If it feels like it's uncomfortable, so we want to work at about 80%. So go to your edge and then back off a little bit and notice how that feels. Then maybe exploring palm face up. So does it feel better if palm face down or palm face up? With a soft bend in your elbow, extending your arm away from you, bring your arm out to the side. And then on inhale, meet back at center, palm face down, release. So it might be that you imagine the movement, reaching your other arm up, spiral your palm open, extend your arm away from you. Inhale, meet back at center, palm face down, release. And so if my cueing with the breath doesn't work for you, breathe in your own time and rhythm. Reach and move, linking your breath with your movement. Palm face up, arm out to the side. On inhale, meet back at center, palm face down, release. Reach your arm up, other side. Turn your palm face up. So soft bend in your elbow, nothing rigid. Extend your arm away from you. Meet back at center, palm face down, release. Release your arms down by your side, then rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. Maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Okay. And so arms by your side again. Give it a little shake out. So maybe this time a little more vigorous. So do the bum dance. A little more vigorous. Do the bum dance. And so you might even pull the buttock flesh away from your sits bones. And so let's come into a practice to help find our balance. And so one of the teachers that I did a training with, Matthew Sanford, some of you might be familiar with, who's amazing. He trains yoga teachers to teach yoga for people who are living with a disability. And so his definition, at least my interpretation of his definition of balance, is the best one that I've ever heard. And so I might paraphrase, or it might be his words exact. So what I heard him say was that balance is the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so sitting up tall, place your hands in your hip creases or wherever you can reach comfortably. And then as you're ready, hinging from the hips, come forward with a flat back. And so this gentle movement, so it's not about seeing how far we can go, just kind of that just right amount of effort and ease. And then come on back up. And so in your own time and rhythm, I'd like to invite you to keep this gentle movement flowing. For a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable. And noticing that sometimes when we come into a forward fold, our chin wants to jut forward. So tucking your chin in slightly. And then come on back to a neutral spine. Release your arms by your side, then rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And notice how this feels. Notice any subtle sensations. Where did your thoughts go? And so moving on, let's release our arms down by our side, or it might be that you feel more comfortable if you're in a wheelchair, maybe to rest your hands on your armrests or taking hold of the sides of your chair. So we never forfeit balance to come into a pose or movement. And so shifting our weight from side to side. And sometimes it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these movements. Come on back to a neutral spine. Bend your arms low in front of you, and then gazing straight ahead. That can help us focus our mind. Twist from side to side. you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, you can bend your elbows, fingers reach for the sky, and so twisting from side to side. And so one pose or movement is not better than the other. So it's not one size fits all. And so whatever works for you. And notice how you feel when you're in the movements and the poses. And maybe backing off of the pose or the movement, coming out of it before on my cue. And slowly come back to a neutral spine. Release your arms down by your side. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And take a moment to notice how this feels. And so often you'll hear me say that it's not about what we look like in our yoga practice. It's how do I feel? That's a diagnostic tool. And so moving on, let's ground through our feet again. So noticing, paying attention to sensations. And so I can feel that my feet are cold. And so make sure that you're comfortable. And so it's challenging for our nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And so that's a cue for me in my own practice and as a teacher too, and always a student first, to make sure that I don't lose connection with my feet. And so let's actually begin to tap our toes. Tap a little faster. And then maybe tapping out to the side. And come on back center. And when you're ready, maybe rolling up onto the balls of your feet, your toes, and back on your heels. Roll up and back. And then maybe alternating these movements from side to side. And so anytime we can move asymmetrically, this is good for our brain health. Good. And so ground through your feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. Sits bones sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And our Buddha belly is soft, breath is quiet. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And so from here, I'd like to invite you to come into a modified version of Eagle Pose. So let's bend our arms in front of us, palms facing each other. And then maybe just noticing how this feels. And then take your hand to the opposite elbow and cup your elbow with the palm of your hand. And then draw your arm in towards the midline. Allow that shoulder to soften away from your ear. Then maybe reaching up a little higher. And we'll stay here for a few breaths or as long as feels comfortable. So Eagle Pose. And slowly come out of the pose. Release your arm down by your side. Maybe give yourself a little shake out. And we'll come into the pose and the movement on the other side. So if possible, whenever we can, practicing the movement or the pose on the other side. And so bending your elbows in front of you, palms face each other. Cup your opposite elbow with the palm of your hand. Soften the top of that same shoulder. And then draw your arm in towards your heart center. Maybe reaching up a little higher. And so holding this pose for a few breaths. And then release. And give your hands a shake out your arms. Good. Okay, so let's transition into a movement that I like to call stirring the pot. So a little warm up for our lower back and our hips. And so if you're able to bring your feet a little wider than the outer hip bone distance, and I'm just going to tip my iPad forward a little bit. Hopefully you'll be able to see my feet. And so you shift from side to side, pull your buttock flesh away from your sits bones. And then you're making sure that your knees are in line with your ankles. It's okay to toe heel out a little bit or have your toes pointing outwards. And so when you're ready, place your hands in your hip creases or wherever you can reach comfortably. And then begin making circles with your body, your upper body. So moving from your hips, coming forward, and then pressing back. So moving forward, circling, stirring the pot, and then pressing back. So it's like your lower back's pressing towards the back of the chair. And so this movement can feel a little bit strange if you're not accustomed to it. And so it might be micro movements, visualizing the movement, focusing on what we can do. And then moving in the other direction. So as your lower back and your hips begin to soften and release, see if maybe you can go a little deeper. And so moving your shoulders towards your knees. Of course, we're not going to come all the way down. Stirring the pot. And so bring your awareness to the space in front of you, beside you, above you, and especially bringing our awareness to the space behind us, and an invitation to trust that you're being supported. And then slowly come on back to a neutral spine. Release your arms down by your side. And then toe heel back in if you'd like. And so palms face up or down on your thighs. And take a rest. Okay. And so moving on. And so I have so many tools to choose from. And so would really like to share with you that a yoga practice, from my perspective, is a full yoga practice includes pranayama, which is our simple breathing exercises, the gentle movements, the asana piece if you'd like, the poses, meditation, visualization, and I like to use sound as therapy. in my yoga practices as well, and in my own personal practice and what I teach. And so, and I also like to use little bits of writing, whether it's a poem or the Yoga Sutras. So yoga has its own unique philosophy. And so today I brought a piece of writing with me that I'd like to share. And so again, always making sure that you're comfortable sitting effortlessly upright. And so the little piece I'd like to share with you is by Joseph Campbell. And it's actually just one line. And it reads, "We must let go the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us." Joseph Campbell. So we must let go of the life that we've planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. Joseph Campbell. And so on that happy note, arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, reach up to the sky. Maybe take a look between your palms, and if your hands are facing each other, then return your gaze to the horizon. Maybe bringing your palms together feels okay for you. Maybe even interlacing your fingers loosely, turning your palms face up. So mountain pose. Ground through your feet, centering ground through the soles of your feet. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. And coming out of this pose anytime you'd like, or on my count. And 3, 2, 1. Palms face down. Release your arms down by your side. And take a moment with your hands resting on your thighs, palm up or down, to notice how's your breath. Any subtle sensations. Trust that the sensations are there. Okay. And so let's, from here, take hold, come into a side bend. So I'd like to invite you to take hold of the side of your chair. And so if you're able to reach underneath the side of your chair, go for it, or wherever feels stable and balanced for you, comfortable. And so release your other arm down by your side, spiral your palm open. On inhale, reaching way up to the sky, and then way over, coming into the side bend. And then turn your gaze down towards the floor to release your neck if that feels comfortable for you. And then breathe into your rib cage. And so if this reaching way up and over is not available to you, maybe exploring placing your hand on your shoulder or maybe even on your hip. So can you imagine breathing in below your rib cage? Slowly come out of the pose on this side. And take a moment and we'll come into it, the pose on the other side. So take hold of wherever you need to feel stable and balanced on the other side. The side of the chair, or maybe even hooking your arm over your the handle on your chair. And so other arm by your side, spiral your palm open, have a soft bend in your elbow. And so reaching way up and over to the side. Keep that sit bone on the chair. Keep your sits bones on the chair. And slowly come out of the pose on this side. And release your arms by your side, and maybe just letting your arms hang out by your side, or if it feels okay or better, on your thighs. And take a moment, notice how's your breath. It's our old friend, our breath. And notice any subtle sensations. Okay. And so let's come into a seated twist. And so toe heel out to the side again, and if that's available. And then sitting up comfortably. Lengthen your spine. Chin's tucked in slightly to lengthen your neck. And then take your hand over to your opposite knee or thigh. Release your arm down by your side. It's on the side that you're twisting towards. Turn your gaze towards the horizon. So you can see that we're already into our twists a little at this point, but let's see if we can go a little bit deeper. And so inhale, lengthen your spine, and on an exhale, going into your twist a little deeper. So our head turns last. And so soft, yoga belly, quiet breath. And then unwind, come on back centered, take a moment. So twisting to the other side, reach your hand, your arm across. Take hold of the outside of your knee or thigh. Other arm comes down beside you or behind you, wherever you can reach comfortably. On inhale, lengthen your spine. On exhale, as you're ready, going into your twist. So eyes are closed softly, focused inward, or soften your gaze. Slowly unwind, we'll meet back at center. And so rock and roll. On inhale, reaching up to the sky, and on exhale, twisting to the side. Inhale, reaching up and twist. Reaching up and twist. And so in your own time and rhythm, so you don't have to move at my pace, so it might be a little faster, maybe a little slower. And so finish up the movement that you're on. Release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And so toe heel back in. And so our knees are about hip distance apart. So a little trick for hip distance is maybe 2 fist distance between your knees. And notice, how's your breath? It's always coming back to our breath. So if we're focused on our breath, it's hard to you can't actually be in the future or the past. So it brings us, our breath helps to bring us into the present moment. And what a gift. At the risk of sounding cheesy. And so let's come into a seated forward fold, or as a counter to the twists and the side bends. And so they're pretty intense spinal movements, so we need to realign our spine. And so if the only contraindication that I'm aware of, and again, always student first and trusting your own, what you know to be true about your body and whatever other health professionals that you're working with have given you as guidelines. So if you have bulging discs, fractures, osteoporosis, essentially, forward folds are contraindicated. And so, so it might be that you're sitting comfortably, supported and lengthening your spine. Your shoulders are back and down if you have osteoporosis. Otherwise, hands in your hip creases, hinging from the hips. To my knowledge, it's safe for most of us to come forward about 20%. And so tucking your chin in slightly, releasing the back of your neck. And then breathe into your lower back. So you might imagine that you have, that your lungs are in your lower back. And so of course, literally, we can't place our lungs in our lower back. However, our imagination is powerful. Visualization. So prana, circulation goes where our thoughts and our breath goes. Maybe even walking your feet forward a little bit if that's helpful. You might even feel comfortable with resting your hands, forearms on your thighs. And so tuck your chin in slightly, maybe nodding yes and no. And we'll just stay here for a few more breaths, or as long as it feels comfortable. And so coming out of the pose, press down through your inner heels. So energetic, pressing down if you'd like. Place one hand on each of your thigh and lift from your chest. And come on back up and back seated comfortably in your chair in preparation for a short guided meditation and your final relaxation. So do the bum walk back or walk your hips back. Make sure that you're warm enough, that you're comfortable. And so I happen to have a sheepskin underneath my butt because it feels great. I like to have a blanket handy for warmth, but also for weight. So a nice warm blanket on our thighs can feel really lovely, grounding. And also placing something along your spine. So I have a rolled sticky mat, so you might use a cushion or roll up a blanket. So we don't need fancy yoga props in our yoga practice, and I'll speak more to that as the classes go on. And so sitting back comfortably, and of course paying attention to our feet. And so actually my feet are cold, so I'm actually going to throw, I have an extra blanket, I'm going to throw it on my feet. And you might even have a pet that you'd like to hold. So we're at home with our practices, most of us these days, so of course pets and children are welcome, and that's optional. And Yeah, so rest your hands, palms face up or down on your thighs. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And so really not scrunching our shoulder blades together, but allowing our shoulders to soften away from our ears. And tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. Eyes close softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. Soft yoga belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Soft palms, quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. So our final relaxation, or Shavasana if you'd like, Serenity Pose, is meant to be a deep, conscious relaxation. We're not meant to fall asleep in it. Soft yoga belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Soft palms, quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. And soften the area between your eyebrows. Wide forehead. Mentally, if you'd like, on inhale, saying let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. If it's challenging to quiet the mind, sometimes placing our hands on our belly and bringing our awareness to our breath can be helpful. So breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. And breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. As my in-breath grows deep, my out-breath grows long. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. And so when you're ready, maybe bringing a gentle awareness back to your breath without changing anything. Thank your body. Thank your body again. And then begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. And then come on up, seated comfortably to finish up your yoga practice. And so an invitation to bring your hands to your heart center. Maybe lifting your elbows slightly. If you can press your thumbs against your sternum. So if this placement of your hands works for you, lovely. But if it creates any, makes you lose your balance in any way, choose another placement for your hands. And so take a moment to bring the intention that you said at the beginning of the class back to mind. Let it go. Take a moment to honor yourself for showing up for yoga practice today. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. And Teacher Me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. And so, thank you.